On January 14th, 2022, Visa unveiled their new brand identity with the customary rebrand video. You know the ones. Upbeat music in the background with finger snaps and hands clapping, white text on a black background switching really fast, a whole bunch of grids and mock-ups, and a female voice that starts the video off by saying something hip and casual like,
"So we had an idea.
So here's the deal."
Yeah, there you go. And look, I don't want to sound unnecessarily critical here. I definitely don't want to talk ill of my peers. Corporate clients are tough. Not sure I want to be responsible for chatting with the heads of Visa during the revision process for such a huge undertaking. I mean, this video is like 4 minutes long and it goes from logo to colors to fonts to stationery to fucking stairs, for Christ's sake. But it's 2022 and it's getting harder and harder to see past some of the cliches at this point. Most of what's in this video isn't that worthy of criticism if taken on its own. Yes, the rapid-fire text with the Helvetica clone got old after like the third iPhone X ad. All these grids are pretty much useless, and the typeface is just there to inflate the project budget. But what the hell, at least it's well made. I mean, look at this sexy highlight.
It's simply powerful and powerfully simple, inspired by our past, and propelling us boldly into the future.
And what really got me going is actually a bit more complicated. And it's not really about how cool and hip this fundamentally uncool brand is trying so hard to be. What is truly messed up about this rebrand is much deeper and probably controversial. And it has to do with how utterly and annoyingly contemporary this rebrand is. Okay, let me explain.
Draper, what we have here? I am here to unbox
Draper,
you.
Get your eyes on
this.
The concept behind this whole thing is actually fairly solid, if a bit ubiquitous lately. They've taken the original Visa stripe design and turned it into an equal sign, representing their mission to democratize access to a fair and modern payment system. It's actually pretty interesting as far as I'm concerned. It's a really clean and visual approach to a fairly volatile concept. And had this been the extent to which this idea was taken, I wouldn't be making this video. But some genius at the agency thought, why not be safe? Why make something earnest when we can just win over the client? So they went along with this idea and proceeded to take it to a ridiculous extent. They turned honestly good insight into what looks like a not so thinly veiled parody. I mean, this thing sounds like it was written by an artificial intelligence programmed to spew politically correct jargon at you.
Oh, we've got a new photography style too, featuring authentic and diverse people who touch our network from all over the planet.
Every frame of this video exudes wokeism, to an extent that I've honestly been surprised about. There's not a single element misplaced in a way that it could even remotely be misconstrued as offensive. It's so clean, so cynically sanitized, that it just feels like a complete and utter act. It just feels empty and soulless, which is not exactly what you're looking for from a video promoting love and inclusion. I mean, how do you look at this shit and not think a machine made it? I swear it feels like the ratio between black to Asian to Latino people has been calculated by some kind of algorithm. Do we even have to talk about the photos in this video? Try and find a person that isn't in some way or another representing a minority featuring these stills. I think I've counted like 2 white dudes. One is an old guy, so you could probably make the case that he's some senior citizens or some shit, and the other is facing away from the camera. I'm just saying, do we really need a bionic arm to convey the idea your service is for everyone? I get the skin color, but the lady in crutches? This just looks like you're trying to tick equity boxes until the people around the corporate table ran out of ideas.
Ooh, did we put the albino chick? Alright, let's make sure we cast one.
And look, I'm not just trying to be annoying here. Coming off as earnest and human is the point of this damn video. Yes, I clearly don't like the brazen extents to which woke culture has snaked its way into every aspect of communication, but it's not even about that. The true problem is not Visa being woke to a fault. The true problem is Visa thinking this message looks anything other than a total facade. Keywords are so ridiculously cliché and overused, I struggle to see how no one is advised against being so literal.
Are you sure about that?
Look at this frame. It's a credit card brand and the word security barely fits on the screen, eclipsed by a list of words that seem to be taken out of a woke word generator. Trust me, you don't need to copy-paste all these slogans to show that you care. Besides, your value should be integral to your business. These things are always better done than said. And don't worry, the biggest irony of this video isn't lost on me. Their #1 consumer, white male middle-class dude, is straight up alienated from this representation. How this detail passed like a good idea is honestly beyond me. Look, I don't have to be the one saying brands are more than just their products or services. Looking at other videos on this channel will definitely be a good insight into how deep our beliefs are regarding companies, their values, and their cultural impacts. I know that. I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, regardless of good intentions, every brand is always trying to sell you shit. And I think we can now confidently say that wokeism is the latest radical trend that got big enough for brands to safely play off of it. A phenomenon so radical, in fact, that it pushed Visa to portray itself as the company for everyone in the world, literally everyone, but the #1 customer. Here, let me say this in a way we can all understand.
So, here's the deal. You like brands? Awesome. We do too. So much so that we've built a whole company around their relevance and cultural impact. But no one likes it when instead of showing their true colors, companies hide behind a long list of cliches and slogans to virtue signal a whole country of people. So, we're here to ask brands to quit this bullshit. Do it! Keep their nuances and individual traits and develop them into their market leverage. Who knows? Maybe one day we could all live in a world where values are not checkboxes, but meaningful insight into a company's MO. Pretty radical, huh?